Hello and welcome everyone from VaeZine. And today we have a fantastic ensemble of guests here who are pretty excited to tell us a bit more about the most recent Kickstarter from Free League, the Mythic Carpathian and My Nightmares, City of Nightmares, the expansion and campaign that deals with the undead and the mythical creatures from the Far East. With me tonight, I have Michael, I have Bohdan, and Julia, who are some of the writers for Mythic Carpathian and are tuning in from Kiev and will tell us about the kind of coming together of this beautiful scenario campaign setting, and as well as background information. And from the other side of the world, from my perspective, we have Nell, our artist and third member of the VaeZine community. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us tonight. If you guys want to first start briefly, just introduce yourself and maybe where can people find you besides your beautiful creation that we are very excited to see soon, and how people can get in contact. Then we have a bit of secondary means to get to bug you more to produce it even faster. Michael, do you want to start?
Yeah. My name is Mikhailo or Michael. I'm author of one of authors of Spirits and Monsters of Mythic Ukraine, and right now we are working on Mythic Carpathia setting book and expansion for Vaesen. You could reach to me through email, I guess, or Discord, but I usually online on Discord mode. So something like that. I'll add some links if you want to, but
We'll put them in the description.
yeah, yeah. But it's not like very necessary. If you want to like reach to us, you can reach through Evgen Kiev, who is also our like he was our leader for Spirits and Monsters of Mythic Ukraine, and he was like an organizer of this uh, awesome like opportunity. Yeah, let's
Fantastic.
go next.
Bohdan.
Okay, hello. My name is Bohdan, or Ilair. Most of Ukrainian community know me as Ilair, like a pseudonym. Um, I'm co-founder of a tiny Ukrainian studio or publishing, maybe both. Dance Forest Camp. We create TTRPGs, sometimes just designing, sometimes just editing, and in this mm, in this activity, I joined to Western society, Ukrainian society, and participate initiative to create Ukrainian bestiary and this book, also bestiary and setting, I think. Most time in our society activity, I make designs, layout designs, but in the last time I try myself in write lessons and mysteries. That's great. This new experience for me because I'm not good in my English, and it's a really challenge to me to try my passive skills only reading many rule books and create from this amount of knowledges about language, about mythology, about some tiny specific scenes of different nations, and keep this together and create this book.
Fantastic. And yeah, we'll also put the links to your contact information in the description. And finally, Julia.
Hey, hi guys. I'm also, as you probably have already guessed, part of this Ukrainian team who was responsible for writing first Spirits and Monsters Ukrainian collection of different creatures based on our mythology, and now a part of a team who's dealing with Mythic Carpathians. But also, I'm a person responsible for Ukrainian localization of Vaesen because we finally got it, and now it's all on. It can be bought like PDF or also in paper, and we are super happy with that. We've been waiting for years.
Fantastic.
But
Cool.
yeah, Ukrainian societies.
And,
Ukrainian TTRPG society is pretty excited about society.
I can hear that, and that's fantastic. And Nell, do you want to just give a brief intro about you?
Yeah, well, I'm involved in other different localizations also for different Ukrainian studios and other translations of Free League projects, which I personally adore a lot.
Okay.
That's it. So I do some random TTRPGs content sometimes, but mostly it's for just writing. Not really a good designer. Basically, sometimes do paint, sometimes do craft stuff, own a little channel, a little bit known in Ukrainian community as just a bag of weird stuff.
Good.
Well, but you can reach me out in our Discord server, which is devoted to Ukrainian society. I believe we do have a link somewhere. We can share it. We all can be found there, I believe.
Fantastic. And now from the other side of the Pacific, Janelle.
Hello. I go by Nell online. I'm the artist I work with both David and Thomas on the VaeZine. I'm an illustrator. I've worked on a small show called Little Demon. I was responsible for the monsters and death and gore, lots of execution scenes. Unfortunately, it's off streaming services. But prior to that, I'm a freelance illustrator. I've worked on indie RPGs, specifically for Sanguine games or productions, on and off. But yeah, I'm mostly independent artist. And if you're looking for blood, guts, and gore, I also do some research on the monsters I had to create for the show. I love doing that, but yeah, that's who I am. An illustrator, an artist, and I work on the artwork for the VaeZine. Hi. But it's not about me, it's about all you three. You guys are really excited about what you guys are going to talk about, because I'm really excited about the Mythic Carpathia. Because even as young as like in 8th or 7th grade, I did a report on Romania, and then I learned more about since then I guess my interest stemmed from there from such a young age. I'm looking forward to hear from you guys.
Yeah. And if we just cite the Kickstarter page, which is still live, so if you haven't done so, please go ahead and join the Kickstarter, because this fantastic expansion is certainly something worth it. And if I can convince you, then maybe these three will change your mind in the next 30 minutes or so. Now, reading through it, it says that it includes the information about the Prague branch of the society, as well as various locations and 3 scenario settings in Prague, Ukraine, and Transylvania, as well as includes maps of Prague, as well as other stretch goals that we currently have. And yeah, in general, do you want to maybe just give us a brief glance, as much as you can talk about? What can we expect from the creatures of Vaesen in Mythic Carpathia? What are some creatures that we can expect, and what are things that maybe we haven't heard of that in the West?
Actually, there are a lot of creatures that we, as we started this project, we haven't heard too about. And it was really exciting for us to delve into learning about such beautiful and terrifying creatures of our own folklore and folklore around Europe. Probably I'll go with Vodyanek. It's water spirit from Ukraine. You can see similar spirits in Poland. In I guess such spirits are known in most of European culture, but this particular is like water necromancer spirit. He's drowning people and returning them as autopsy or some undead zombies, if you like. And he's like devil from the pond. Yeah, I very like him. He is very interesting, very cruel, and very deceiving spirit that you can build your campaign or one shots around, and I hope you like it. And we'll already have an art for him in promotions for Kickstarter. You could see him, I guess, in video, in Kickstarter video. Yeah, but they didn't add him into like campaign. But he's on the video, and you can already see what it is like. Let's go next.
Julia, what about you?
Well, have you guys heard of Tooth Fairy? I bet you have. So now forget everything you know about it, because our Ukrainian Tooth Fairy, it's basically the body of this tiny Chinese dragon or something like that, but with the head of a rat. This tiny creature, you actually can see it somewhere in promo materials. I believe there was a picture of it, and it's a stretch goal, if I'm right, which is still to be opened. Please do it. You won't regret. So the name is Hohayaroha. And this tiny creature lives in mouse holes. So it's a simple little creature which comes and, as a true tooth fairy, takes the two baby teeth and leaves something instead of them. But as it's believed, Hohayarohas have houses somewhere deep underground built with these teeth. Like all the house, all the furniture, everything is built with children's teeth. That already sounds creepy. And I believe we somewhere used it as this type of rat king. When there is a swarm of Hohayarohas, they get binded together, creating something bigger, something from, I don't know, like this computer game Plug the Innocent, if you have ever played. So something like you can see there. And now it turns from cutie into creepy area. That's probably my favorite Vaesen so far.
Also,
okay, next.
Oh,
Sure.
I'm sorry.
One of Vaesen's, what I'm right, is Strigoi or Striga. It's very similar to other vampires for the first glance, but if you dive deeper in history of this one, you find that this particular Vaesen mirrored history of a specific region of Carpathia, and it's not like a generic bloodsucker or vampires from generic fantasy. It's something something connected to villages, tiny villages in mountains, Carpathian and specific Romanian. And it's really interesting experience to find something hidden deeper in culture and history. And probably it's one of my favorite Vaesen because it's interest to learn history through writing this Vaesen.
Well, I'm going to be very excited because I think last year, 2 years ago, Nell and I published a scenario of mine, which included the strigoi and its various forms, because in also I live in Croatia and we have a very strong or similar background for the strigoi and mentioning in like early times at the coastal region, and I agree. I love the connection to this social interference of this living vampires amongst you that are not the blood-sucking type, unless, there are description of that too, but they create all kind of other issues and often were kind of the result of unfortunate time and place of certain people and unknowledge or the inability to comprehend scientific facts that are nowadays standard. But Mikhail, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we as writers also need to design those Vaesen to represent different like layers of fear, different types of fear. And if Vodanic is general fear of drowning, general fear of something drags you into the deep waters, then Strigoi, for example, it's something like societal issues between understanding. I guess it's societal issues between understanding people from other cultures or people from different backgrounds, economic backgrounds, and it's very interesting to play with and to like inspect those fear, those anxiety of people who lived almost 200 years ago.
And maybe issues about neighborhood and rascals among neighbors, because Strigoi formed like a Vaesen from not from evil people who murdered or another way dead and leave behind their problems, and that's problems form this Vaesen after death.
Yeah, it's like about redeeming, about soul can transform to something different, about stuff like can our deeds be forming something new, something terrible, even if we repent them and so on. I think Strigoi is very interesting lesson.
I agree, and because David, I just ran your scenario twice, and there were mixed results on how the characters reacted to confronting such a Vaesen. It's quite interesting, because even afterwards, I researched a bit more about the Strigoi. It's very complex compared to the generic version we are familiar with in America, especially. So it's a very interesting Vaesen.
Now, these are already terrifying and horrific Vaesen, but as we can expect, probably the main focus in Mythic Carpathia is it more to the undead, or is it truly a bit of a mixed variety? So could we expect also seeing some Vaesen that are not really well, let me call the Vetir of the East or something. Cozy, nice, and maybe not too harmful, but maybe more for mischief. Or is it all a dark and mysterious tome?
I believe we went all the way into the darkness while writing Vessels. Because we were basically using the undead art book as a primer source. So, yeah, it's going to be all about this death, redemption, and embodiment of different fears of people and different superstitions, starting from, the scare of losing tooth, child scare, and ending up with the pregnant ladies being afraid of giving birth to a child which won't be normal, because we do have a reason for that, which is like this creepy half skeletonish creature which can cut the belly of a pregnant lady, take out the child, and devour its destiny, its fate, and then put it back like nothing happened. And that was the attempt to explain why some kids are born with diseases or just not fitting in with other kids.
Not lucky enough, yeah, or
Yeah,
not
yeah.
healthy enough. And this is probably darkest Vaesen that we have. But also we have such Vaesen as Hmelun. It's not so dark Vaesen, but we delved into I'm sorry, to not who are familiar with it, it's Vaesen who is embodiment of positive and negative reactions of people to alcohol. It's alcohol Vaesen who could cheer you up, to give you a great time with your friends, or it could lead you to darkest days of your life and get you like in his grasp and probably like drunk you to death, so stuff like that. And we portrayed this Vaesen as typical Gothic figure of, I guess, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde stuff, that he is two-faced creature who not fully understand which his second sight is doing. And yeah, stuff like that. But also we have very dark Vaesens. It's I guess mostly undead, but some of them are like golem or homunculus, are not undead by their nature, but they are playing with that with that fear of creating life without God's intervention that was in 19th century, like Frankenstein monster, and those archetypes are represented for us in those creatures. I should probably not say more.
Oh no! Oh no! Please do not tell more about this fantastic.
Well, I have one question.
Yeah.
Because the Vaesen, because you worked with mostly the undead book. Now I'm curious, because along Mythic Britain and also with the Call Rulebook, it seems that each society has their own personality. So I'm just wondering, like, how do you describe the Pravda society? Are they as dark or even as dark as the Vaesen? Like, what type of personalities, or I'm just wondering on if you can describe the society with one word, what would you give it? Because it seems like the if I were to create a character for this society, I think this character would be as dark or darker than the Vaesen that he or she is going to encounter. So I'm just curious on the personality of this society, if you can say.
Yeah, actually, we don't have much information on that because Polish team was writing society, was writing setting, and we were focused more on Western, on building
Scenarios.
conflicts, yeah, and mysteries. I'm sorry. So
Oh, okay.
I think that, and some of Western that we wrote were like presented to us by Polish writers, and they wanted to us to write it. And I think they were like in. I think they were planning to do something with them and to embody them somehow in society. Society, I guess, history or society ways of dealing with Western, and but it's only speculations. Really, I don't have like much information about that, and could only speculate.
Now, you've mentioned already Johan Egerkranz's The Undead original book, which is a fantastic book, and I love it too. I read it also multiple times. And now I just realized I had an interview with Johan last year, I think, and he already hinted that there will be an expansion that should be obvious, nudge, nudge. And I was like, oh, well, what could it be? East, west, north? But finally, we know which one he went for. Um, but speaking from inspirational point, because you all said you did additional research, and is there a specific kind of inspiration that kind of led you to find or research a specific lesson, or what is your inspiration in general?
Yulia, Bohdan, I was talking too
Let
much.
Okay, I think for start we just read about Wesson in this art book. Then probably I go to Wikipedia and start my very generic search. I'm try to find some hooks where I can find more native information, more local information about my lesson. Then I go to regional sites. It's very interesting when I sit on a Romania website and try to understand what this language it look like Spanish, like Italy. Then I find that is Romania. I think, oh, it's my point. I start to translate it and find some clues where I really can find more. And maybe the second part of research, it Daria Korni bestiary. It's our local bestiary. Probably about Ukrainian Vaesens and spirits and monsters. We don't use term Vaesen. And sometimes we we find some correlations between our neighbor country Vaesens and our Vaesens, our version of this Vaesens.
That's yeah, that's interesting. I imagine, especially, I tried to do some research here in Croatia and found that obviously, going back far enough, you find that it was once all one big country with different languages, dialects, and whatnot, and that's kind of where it gets then to the point where I need to really consult somebody or like go somewhere to actually find somebody who can read old Serbian or something like that. Which,
I
yeah,
think
is
more different in this. It's understand the context and build the view of those people, not my personally
yep.
nowadays view, and create a feeling like you read and you play in that time, and you give for game masters information and tools to create this medieval version of this Vaesen, not our nowadays.
Okay. And Julia, what about you?
Well, I was fortunate enough to work with Ukrainian vessels, so I didn't have to go to Romanian websites for my search. Thank God I can't read Romanian, so far at least. So I mostly use as a basic kids, old kids fairy tales, because they are the greatest source. They show, if you start analyzing them from the point of view of an adult person, seeing all those hints, what they were meant to protect kids for, to prevent them from doing, you're like, oh my gosh, that's such a deep well.
Mm.
And I'm going to dive all the way down there. And especially it was useful and handful for Hohaya Roja, which is quite related to kids. And also it was quite useful for Babai. Babai, it's also a Western which is connected to kids, but it's like a Western which steals kids. But not all the kids, only those who misbehave.
Of course. Of course.
Of
We need a
course, yeah.
teachable value.
Yeah. Putting them in his magical sack or something like that, and like getting somewhere far where no one will find him. So yeah, that was a great influence. It had a great influence on kids. So kid stories that is.
Speaking of, were there maybe some kids' stories that motivated you to research a specific one to be included, or was there something driven from that perspective? Because I remember back in my days, I've been reading the original, like Grimm's Tales and kind of kids' books from even further back, and I mean, yeah, they are not, the downwash Disney version that is available in the Western world, let's put it this way. But I think in German they call it dark parenting, when you scare the kid so much that it's so afraid to do anything because it is being told that it will have consequences dire.
I probably could answer this question because I wrote Baba Yaga. And I wanted to present this lesson as not just scary witch in Hansel and Gretel, who is like eating children because they want and luring them into their house. I wanted to create something more like chthonic, more unique. There are like many witches, but there is only one Baba Yaga, and I wanted to create mythological creature who is like who will not be like human, who will not represent stuff that humans do. And for my inspirations and like Hansel and Gretel was very, very cool, but I probably delved in some functions of this Vaesen, as you said, like what of dark parenting, like what is this fear about? And Baba Yaga was back in the day was like embodiment of maturing, of like you wander to somewhere deep into the woods alone and then return if you spend your like night in the woods as a person who conquered his fears or her fears. Like it's about wandering to the Baba Yaga was originally about wandering to near the death state, near the death realm, and was like gatekeeper through those realms in Slavic mythology. And I wanted to bring something new, probably interesting, but also true to the source. You can repeat your question because I probably answered something different.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
That is kind of the point. Julia and Bohdan, do you have kid stories that maybe riddled you as a child?
I'd say that in my childhood we still had that thing for Bobai. Like I remember, not coming from our parents, but mostly coming from kids themselves. Like don't go into the dark house because Babai will steal you, or look, Babai is hiding under the stairs. Run! So for us, it wasn't a scary thing anymore, but we used it like half prank. So that was the starting point, I'd say. And then yeah, we went all the way down. But it's curious that we still keep those things around.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. Bogdan, any of your stories?
I think my parents didn't try me scared. Maybe I'm find some scared in darkness in the first stages of my life, but it's just it just generic fear. Also, I arachnophobist, and that's all. Maybe sometimes I just scary about some mundane scenes, but I probably never scared some mythic creatures.
I do have one question. Sorry, I want to go. Go ahead.
Yeah, you go.
Oh, well, it's just that because all three of you had to do some research on Vaesen, I'm just wondering that through the research, is there a particular Vaesen that you knew more about that surprised you the most? Like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, oh, really? That's why it's like that? Is there a Vaesen that surprised you all during the research? Like, you had one conception of this Vaesen, and that kind of changed your view on it while doing research.
For me, it's Varkolak. Probably before researching, I was like, probably it's some kind of werewolf, just a werewolf, and that's it. but the more I read into it, I understand that it's much, much more. And probably for me, it's was like shock that I knew so little about it. Even my core expectations of this lesson were so off, so off putting for me. So I just was in shock that Varkolak is like very close to Ukraine, like very close in cases of like it's same Carpathian region, but as we have, but it's completely different. It was shocking for me, but most of lessons that we research, we don't know like anything before we start reading into it, researching them, and that probably helped us to accept any point of view and not be like not be prejudiced. I don't know what word is like.
Yeah, that's fine.
To not be like to not expect things, because as you delve deeper, you find more and more interesting stories and more interesting sources that uncover more about this creature.
Mm.
Yeah, at first I was like, do we have a tooth fairy? What? Well, the name is what? Hoja Yaroja. Okay, we have Huhi. Okay, Hoja Yaroja, Huhi. Do they have any similarities? No. Then I was like, okay, dragon's body and rat's hat. Who put them together? Who thought that can be put together? Who was that very unhealthy person who decided, yeah, this is the creature stealing kids' teeth? Like, what? And then when I got to the point of these teeth-made houses, I was already sold.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's what I want to write. Let's go with these bone houses, bone furniture, little creatures living in mouse holes, and then getting all together to create this giant creature. Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Just let's let it be.
It went better from the more you read, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
Also, my grand nanny told me stories about mice stealing your milk teeth and baby teeth, and I was like, mice? It's kind of strange. Why mice do that? Like they eat like I watched Tom and Jerry, and like they eat cheese and stuff like that. Why do they need any teeth? And later, into writing Hoja Roja, we delved into similar stories, not only in our region, and also, if I remember correctly, in Spain, it's like Raton, who also a tooth fairy, and if I remember correctly, again in France, there's always some like mice type or rat-like creature who steals baby teeth or acts like a tooth fairy, and I was like shocked that we have such similar concept of creature who does same function. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
And that actually brings me to a point that I wanted to ask is, as you nicely mentioned, various locations throughout Europe, throughout the world, have similar creatures, similar folk tales, and folk tales travel by people. They are only true if people remember them and tell them. And choosing Prague as a location or as a base for Mythic Carpathia, I think is also very interesting. It's a very high visited place. It has a good spot to the further eastern parts, as well as connections to Vienna and kind of Germany, as well as the Mediterranean Sea. Can we expect as well, like with as many other mythical Britain and Ireland and such, the kind of a bit of detailed description about societies. How can we flavor kind of the games? What is beyond the Vaesen? Kind of how can we add a bit of flavor of the eastern parts of Europe into the games? Are there some instructions or some ideas that you brought in, either through scenarios or maybe as prompts for the Vaesen?
About society, we definitely brought some of them about in Lviv mystery. I I think that our friends from Poland wrote like setting part and society part, and probably they could answer this question like more precisely, because really we don't have like more information about it. But I think in Eastern Europe and Central Europe, Western are more close to human and human-like appearance and human-like problems, and it probably differs them from Norse Western, who are like more like mythical creatures from deep 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 past and history. Our creatures are closely tied to, I guess, tied to Christianity and how Christianity affected those folk tales and sometimes demonized Western around and presented them as more vile, more evil than they were before Christianity.
And yeah, can't say for sure for setting, as we were not responsible for it, but we definitely left a few hints for Ukrainian history in our Lviv mystery, using the real places which are still, I believe, open for visits, at least the Palace Pototskich, which we hinted that it could be a base for like headquarters for Ukrainian branch of society. And we also did mention one specific location, which we almost persuaded Mikhailo to go explore, but he was wise enough to say no and keep his word. And we also left some hints for Ukrainian famous people on the culture ground. They put in them like, this little empathy somewhere on the edge of your story. But if you take the hint and go research, and you were like, whoa, there is a whole story behind that. So yeah, we kind of left a few Easter eggs there.
And also in our Transylvania mystery, we put some description of very basic, very mundane issues of people who lived in mountains. And if I don't mistake, we describe one of festival. And that's tools about what I told. We try to form the environment of our mystery by these tiny hints, and we put in each hint maybe opportunity to learn more about this particular culture.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think with that, I am very excited and can't wait to have Mythic Carpathia in my hands and read more of the fantastic, creepy tooth fairies and other beings that will scare my nights again. Thank you very much, Mikhail, Bogdan, and Julia, for being with me or for with us tonight here at VaeZine. And yeah, thank you very much for this insight. If there's any last words that you want to plug, share, or want to mention something about, feel free to do so. And then we'll do a quick wrap up.
Buy Mythic Carpathia and City of Nightmares. Support our Kickstarter. Please read VaeZine. It's really awesome, and David, you are doing great work with it. Like, I didn't skip a single one since we met. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Do warn your players about all the possible scary scenes they may encounter, preferably before, but nevertheless.
Content warnings, basically. Like, oh, here's a list of things. Not too many spoilers. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Use the TTRPG and Vaesen to learn more about your history, world history. That's a great tool and great opportunity for this.
Julia, any last words?
Oh,
any final words?
Go on and play. Open your book. What are you waiting for, guys?
Fantastic.
Make sure you don't see any mice taking your teeth, I guess, while you
roll the dice and see if you have seen those mice. Maybe they rolled higher.
We need to make dice as teeth for...
bone dice.
Teeth dice, yeah.
Teeth dice.
Imagine that. Oh,
that's nice.
That's spicy.
That would feel... Well, I could... Well, okay, cool. Gave me an idea. Fantastic. Well, thank you again.
Yeah.
Good.
No, I'm just saying, like, how many teeth you have to combine to make a D20, though?
There's one way to find out. Well, thank you again, all. And that's it from us at VaeZine. If you want to join or submit something to our next issue, feel free to do so. You find us at vaezine@gmail.com. If you have something that we might have missed in the last issue, or you have a scenario that we didn't catch, feel free to send it along, and we'll happy to kind of give it a review, promote it, and do whatever we can. We also want to start live play some scenarios soon, so give us some time to organize our lives, but we'll be back and with more action and things to come. And with that, a wonderful good evening and good night, good morning, wherever you are. Goodbye.
Take care, guys. Bye.